How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see y'all. Full house today, huh, Page? How you doing? All right. I'll start off for getting ready for this week with some good news. Is starting the 3-week return from the IR window will be David Montgomery. So I think that's great. It's exciting for us. We'll see where it goes and everything. So, but to start that, it'll happen today. Still on IR with no change will be Deion Bush and Tevin Jenkins. And then Jermaine Ifedi, there's no change. He's still on the COVID list. For us, we just had our walkthrough. It was great to be able to get outside and, to get back out there with them. And for me, I was cleared on Tuesday, so I was back in the office Tuesday morning. I was able to get back in here and get back to some quote-unquote normalcy. It was awesome seeing, all the coaches and really just kind of getting back on track. So we want to continue to be very diligent with all the COVID and making sure that everyone's wearing their masks and making sure that we're smart is real. And so we got to stay on top of that. But at the same point in time, the focus is going on 1-0 against Pittsburgh on Monday night. That's huge. And so that's how we've attacked it. We had a good meeting this morning, and now here we are. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to y'all.
Matt, knowing David's wiring the way you do, how would you describe kind of where he's at this stage in terms of his eagerness?
Yeah, his David is, as you guys know, he's very focused. So when he comes, he's back out there and he's at the walkthrough, and you see like he's focused play by play and just where he's at. But I think for us physically to see where he's at and get him out there and get a feel for this week. I know he's worked really hard to get to this point. It does. It probably feels like forever to him, and I know it feels that way for us too. He was having such a great year, and so now we'll see where it goes. But it's good timing if we are able to get him back and get him going, because also too he's grown into such a tremendous leader for that offense, and I think that part is sometimes when you're not around as much the guys that can you miss that, and now to be able to get him back in those huddles and that stuff is great.
Matt, having the bye after this,
Yeah.
how does that factor into your decision whether to bring him back now or no?
Probably every guy's a little bit different. If he's so eager to try to get back, we'll keep an eye on where he is. We'll see how he looks. That'll be key to see how he looks. He's got to tell us how he feels, and then we'll just get a feel for if it's the best thing for us and him. And if it is, if he's able to go and we feel good about it, he's going to be up and ready to rock and roll. So that's probably the biggest thing.
Is Khalil Mack practicing, or do you have anything?
He's the same in the same situation. We all know, and we know as coaches, you all know from dealing with him every week where he's at. He's going to want to try to do everything he can to get right and go out there. But there's no change with his status from really last week. We're just going to continue to keep working with him.
I know that you hated being out.
Yeah.
Was there any good part about it at all for you? Was there any kind of reset for you, or I don't know if that slows things down for you or gives you a different perspective on things to have that week?
It did, Jason. It allowed me, you never want that to happen, and you get frustrated. You say, man, you really can't make it up to the fact that you're a head coach of a team, and you can't be there with your team. That's hard. How do you deal with that? And I think the initial reaction for me was, okay, how am I going to handle this? But then when you get to that time to be able to sit back and say, okay, where am I? I talk about it with the staff and the players. Where's the 30,000-foot view right now? I get to step away from being inside in the trees, step up and see, okay, how's this going? Where are things? And how do I as a leader be able to see where we're at? And heading into that week before playing the game, you got to handle the weekly stuff. But then at night, you get some time to be able to think where you're at, and where you're at as a head coach, where you're at as a person, where you're at as a leader, all that stuff. And I really believe that it's going to help me, and I used it as best as I could to reflect on a lot of stuff, And the biggest thing is understanding that I can't and we can't control before, we can't control what's going on and what's going to happen, future win or losing games, stuff like that, injuries, et cetera. It's just we have to worry about today. And I believe that. And I don't just say that. That's real. And so you got to stay in the moment. And, you know, even me personally, you know, just with you get to be able to make sure that everything's good on the personal side, and just you really get to shoot you're not at the office. So you got to be able to use your time and reflect, and that's what I think I did.
You've been able to kind of establish this running game with David and then now with Khalil. Do you have a sense of how that will work with David once he's able to return, how you kind of balance the carries there in the backfield, and also obviously with Justin involved as a runner as well?
You know, we'll work through all that if that gets to that point. But I mean, you know, David's worked extremely hard to be the running back on this football team and be the guy. And you know, he gets hurt, and that's frustrating and all that. But it's definitely I wouldn't call it a problem, but it's something good for us to be able to have. I mean, you see, shoot, we got down in the game the other day, and we lost a couple running backs, and before you know it, you're saying, well, we're one more, you know, shoestring away from breaking that we got to have somebody else go in, and that's an emergency situation. So it's good to be able to get those two guys together. Khalil has shown what he's able to do. We feel really good about that. So I think, if anything, it allows us to feel really strong at that position and be able to use them both.
But Montgomery doesn't lose carries because Khalil.
No. David is a, you know, again, you guys all know how we feel about him and what he's done, and he's a tremendous leader in this offense.
From that view that you had of your team, what did you maybe learn about them that you didn't know, or what do you assess about exactly where this group is right now?
Yeah, number one, Dion, they're resilient throughout the week. They never let that affect them. They were great. Throughout the week was great. What you see just from going through the game and the way that went is, and really for me to get back with them for the first time really yesterday with the players, you understand the temperature where they're at. They were, you know, pissed at the way that we played and ended up losing that game yesterday, because you go through everything. You go through all the what happened, why did it happen, where are we at. But then you got to reset. Today they come in and it's all Pittsburgh, and now the energy and the vibe is great. You know, they're out there and they care. And, you know, we were talking to one of the guys just a little bit ago, and they're like, Coach, you know, we got a good group of guys. We're resilient. We care. And when you have that and you hear that from a player, you know what it means. And then it's everybody creating that leadership. Leaders create leaders and rolling now. And now we get an opportunity against a great football team Monday night, and we gotta go do as best as we can, try to win the game.
How did you address the penalties that kind of stacked up, especially on the interior of the offensive line on Sunday, because they stalled some promising opportunities?
Yeah, there was a few there, Adam, where I thought it was a great play call by Bill on the screen. We had to push in the back by Cody. We had to downfield, 2 penalties in one play. Some of that's timing. So when you're running a screen, you got to make sure the timing of where you're at. We have counts with the screens. Is it a 1 count, 2 count, 3 count? So we got to be good there. But they were drive stallers, and we kind of overcame some of those. But at the same point in time, we got to eliminate those. And you guys know, I mean, we want to try to be. We need to be a lot better offensively and score more points, and that's not a way to do it. So that and the negative runs, we have more negative runs in that game than we usually have. Different reasons, but we got to eliminate that. The good thing offensively was it's so much fun seeing it on third down, the execution on third down and decision making, the timing, et cetera. But we can't be first and goal at the 5 and lose 4 yards on a run. You can't have that. You got to score touchdowns.
To that point, has Justin shown a knack for like having something within him to overcome negative plays?
I think he does. And because of how he's wired, he doesn't, you know, that 4th and 1, that great run, that's a special play. We'll always remember it. He had fun in the moment. We all had fun in the moment when he scored that touchdown. But then he can reset and come back and be ready for the next play. It's the same thing as when it's a bad play. If something doesn't happen the right way, he doesn't let it affect him. And if you have that, you know, you want that, especially in the quarterback position. He has it.
On the 4th and 1 run, what created the confusion coming out of the huddle and getting lined up properly?
No, there's just we had a specific alignment that sometimes that happens when you're coming out, whether, you know, if it's a position change or et cetera. But that one there was just he just came out wrong, got to the other side, hit the motion, and it didn't affect the play. They called a good defense, and we just had better offense there, or better, I should say, better player there on that one.
been a lengthy sort of look into why Allen's production
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been where it's been. Where are you at in terms of your, I guess, concern with the volume of opportunity he's had, and how can it be changed?
Yeah, you know, when you got a guy like Allen on your team, and especially what he's done in this offense the last several years, you come to definitely appreciate that, and you know that other teams are aware of who he is and where he's at, and sometimes they're going to try to take him out of the game. You know, for us, trust me, there's plenty of stuff that we're trying to get to in certain areas of this game, whether it's first down, second down, third down, or red zone, and for whatever reason, it hasn't happened as much, and there's been some timing, some things here or there, but it's nothing. I mean, A-Rob's practicing hard. He's doing I think it's one of those deals where just once him and Justin continue to keep working through specific routes and concepts, it'll get better. And, you know, we'll just see where it goes. But A-Rob's been awesome.
Hey, Matt, when you were out, were you sick? How were you like physically?
How was I physically? Yeah, I was pretty good. I mean, I felt pretty good. You know, I'm glad I'm here today, and being able to just get back is awesome. You know, but I felt good.
Now that it's in the rear view, can we ask you what your setup was like, watching the game, what TV, all that sort of good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the setup was, for me, I mean, pretty simple. I mean, it was, you know, being at a hotel and being able to, you know, watch the game, and just, it's weird, it's different, you know, you're a lot of sitting on a couch and then able to, you know, just Zoom all the time. And that's you know, I got Zoom and it's good, it saved me, but I'm kind of done with it, you know. So watching the game was hard, you know. It just, you don't like it. You know, like I said to you before, you just sit there and you watch it, and you're trying to figure out what the play call is and understand, okay, oh yeah, it was this play call, good play call, or it was that, and it's just different. I don't think, it's hard.
How long did you go without being in the same room with another person? And you're a fairly personable guy. Was that hard to just be
Yeah.
alone in a hotel?
Yeah, I mean, it's just FaceTime and Zooms. That's it, you know, so it's, that's what it was.
Room service during the game?
No, I didn't eat and I didn't drink, nothing. I just sat there and was just like, I was nervous the whole time, you know. I didn't think I was gonna be nervous, but I was more nervous than normal. But you know, it's just how it was. I had no idea how I was going to go. I was writing down play by play what happened. You know, you remember a lot more stuff when you write it all down and you're able to look at it in between timeouts and stuff. But it was different, really, really weird.
Usually when you have such run production like you guys have had recently, leads to production in the passing game. That obviously has not been the case. Last week, Allen Robinson mentioned the fact that you often bring in an extra tackle to aid in the run game, which takes somebody out of the route if you do decide to pass there. How do you kind of balance, you know, that decision of bringing in that tackle, which has been productive for your running game, but does take someone out of the route if you do decide to pass on that?
Yeah, when you do that, you have to be, you got to stay away from tendencies, so you can't always be run. You got to be able to pass and have that. And then who is it that you're working with as that extra O-lineman? A lot of teams do it. Some teams don't do it at all. You know, we also ran into a little issue a few weeks ago with the tight end situation. We were short with different reasons for the tight end, so that helped us. So I think Alex has done a great job there. And but if you use it the right way, it can help you. And it again makes the guy up in the press box have to decide, okay, what are they getting to personnel-wise? So it's just another personnel too. So there's a balance. You can't have tendencies with it.
It's not every week you're going against one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. I know that you don't have any overlap with him career-wise, but is there anything specific that you have admired over the years from Mike Tomlin?
100%. I think that the way that he leads his organization is rare. And, you know, I've been to different owners' meetings over the years and been, you know, been around him, and you know, he went to William and Mary and I went to Delaware, and so, but I was younger. But the path that he came through and the way he's done things, I just really respect and love the way that he treats. He's real with his coaches. He's real with his players. He's authentic. He's tough on them, but loves them, and he wins. That's what he does. He wins. So I just have a ton of respect for him, and you just said it. I mean, one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in this league, And it just speaks volume. I have ton of respect, you know.
Did you ever get a chance at one of those owners' meetings to talk with him for 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes?
Yeah, we'll talk now and then, just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, nothing real personable, but I think more than anything, it's just a respect factor that I have, and I really like the way I like his style. Every head coach has a certain style. I really appreciate, and I think his style is really good. I like the way he coaches.
You're about halfway point. There are games to be played, but obviously having lost 3 straight, with what your record's at,
Yeah,
probably feeling like it's time to get going if you're ever gonna
for sure,
push.
no doubt.
How would you describe the urgency and the attitude inside this building as you move forward?
Yeah, there's definite urgency, and I think that's okay. You need to have that. We always talk about the fork in the road and going left or going right, and we've been in other times throughout the years where we've had that decision to make, and we've been pressed up against it, and you got to go. And so we have this game coming up, and then you got to bye, and then you got 8 games left after that. But the only thing that matters is making sure that we get that win. The wins change everything. It definitely deodorizes things that you don't do well, but it's okay to do that because you're winning. And so you look at the Steelers, for example, right? They started out 1-3. Here they are 4-3. They won 3 in a row. They fought through it. They probably have pretty good leaders and probably have guys that care about playing. And they don't point fingers. They don't blame. They're not negative. They're positive. We got a positive room in there. The players they're positive. They care. And again, like I said, we want to start a different streak. Let's win one and then win another and continue to go and see where it leads. But that's kind of the mindset that we have, and there's without a doubt an urgency, and that's okay.
Justin seems to have a pretty good connection with Jesse James.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of started in the preseason, right?
Yeah.
And if it's carried over, I mean, can you tap into that more, either with more of Jesse or other players that he worked with more in preseason?
I think that's a really good point by you. You see that, you feel it. I mean, that throw that he made rolling to his left, the first play of the third quarter, Jesse's a big target. He's got long arms, and they do have that connection. They did play together in the preseason. They had a couple throwbacks right early down the sideline, and so I think that's natural to have that. But at the same point in time, we get a heck of a tight end coming back too, and Jimmy Graham is one of the best to ever do it at that position. So we feel really good at that, having those 3 guys. And I think, but you also need to build. And when you have a rapport with a guy, it's important to keep that, and those guys have that, and we'll see where it goes.
About TJ Watt.
About who? Oh, he's a game changer. I mean, he's special now. He's all over the place. He's smart. He can beat you with different moves, speed to power. He can bull rush you. He'll be all over the place, different spots on the D line. And he goes after the football. When he tackles the football. When you're in the pocket, you better have ball security because he's going after that football. And you look at the Seattle game, right, in overtime. You look at several games throughout the year, but there's a reason why they took care of him. And he's, again, you talk to guys like Jesse who have been there, James, have been there, and you get to feedback on who some of these guys are and how they work. And he's a hard worker that cares. So,
Thanks, man.
all right, thank you.
Justin, I just asked Matt about your connection with Jesse James, and know that started with all the reps that you guys had in the preseason training camp. How did that carry over into that, obviously that touchdown throw the other day, but in what ways has he become such a reliable target for you?
Yeah, I just think, just like you said, with the amount of reps that we got in camp, right when he got here, he was pretty much running with my group every rep. So I think we got a kind of a connection built there, and just that foundation. So I can just by throwing so many routes to him, I can kind of just tell where his body's going to be. And I mean, he has a wide range where he's long, and he can go up and get it. And of course, you guys saw Sunday, he can, of course, go down low and catch the ball also. So yeah, just that connection was based in camp.
Coach Flip was talking the other day about how with rookie quarterbacks, it's peaks and valleys a lot. Has he talked to you about that? And have you done a good job compartmentalizing both the valleys but also the peaks?
No, he hasn't talked to me about that.
Coach Flip also talked about your decisiveness in running. Are you feeling like you're being more decisive when you run with the ball, and what's sort of going into that?
Yeah, I mean, just, being decisive, making decisions, whether it's tucking the ball down a run or just throwing the ball away, throwing the ball to a receiver. So I think the more decisive you are, the faster you'll play and the more successful you'll be. So I'm just trying to be decisive in every aspect.
Justin, how do you want to build on what you did last weekend? What's kind of your tangible goal to try and continue on that upward ascent after last game?
What's my tangible goal?
What's your goals? How do you want to build off of what most would say was your best game as a pro?
Just keep doing the same thing, I guess. I mean, just simple. Just keep working hard every day at practice. Focus on the little things, and keep improving. So it's not that complicated when you look at it.
Did you look at that as your best game as a pro?
So far,
Yeah.
I think I have a pretty good game, but yeah, I would say it was my best game.
What made it that way for you?
What made it my best game? I guess the performance. I don't know. I mean, everybody saw the game. I'm guessing I was here, so just completing the ball, being more decisive, stuff like that.
How do you
To that-
quantify
to that-
that with not winning?
Hmm?
How do you quantify that progress you feel like you're making but not winning the game?
I mean, yeah, just try to control everything that I can control, and put my team in the best position that I can for us to win the game. So, I mean, sometimes you're gonna come out not the way you wanted to, but you just gotta go back and keep doing the same thing so it comes out your way.
Justin, both Matt and Flip are very complimentary of the rhythm you played with throughout Sunday's game. I'm curious what your assessment of that was and why you think it may have been a little bit more elevated than it had been.
Just more time, more games under my belt, more snaps. So the more and more snaps I get, just the more comfortable I get. Slows down a little bit.
Justin, last week you told us about the extra meetings you were having with wide receivers. Did anything out of those meetings translate onto the field? Did you see stuff work from those meetings?
I mean, yeah, those meetings just, are for getting us on the same page and pretty much me relaying to them what I'm thinking, during this play or how I want them to run a certain route at a certain depth. So that's just, going to make our connection better and our chemistry better to make sure that myself and the receivers are all on the same page. So, yeah.
What kind of impression did David Montgomery make on you while you were, before he got hurt? And what do you envision of this backfield now with Khalil establishing himself as well as part of that mix?
I mean, yeah, David's an offensive leader. He's a vocal leader. He's a hard worker. He's a hard runner. So, of course, we're glad to have him back this week. And I'm assuming that he's not going to skip a beat just based on how hard he works. So I know he was, working hard to get back out there on the field. And I'm excited for both of those guys. But, yeah, I mean, both of those guys are weapons. They can both run the ball hard and they can both block and catch the ball out of the backfield. So I'm excited.
What have you noticed about from tape, like from the Steelers' defense? What are some of their tendencies and things like that have you noticed?
Yeah, they have a great front seven. Of course, they've been running that defensive scheme for a long time now, so they all know it. They're all very experienced in it, most of them. But I mean, yeah, they have a lot of great athletes. Great guys on the edge, great guys at three technique, great linebackers. So it's going to be a challenge for us, but we're excited for the challenge and we're excited to play.
Justin, since going into the Bengals game to right now, where do you feel like you've made the most progress?
I'm not sure. I just feel like comfortable, like all around, just more confident in myself and just, going out there making plays and stuff like that. So I'm not sure like one specific area. I mean, I'm hoping all the areas, but I just feel way better, just in terms of my confidence and just my command of, the huddle and of the offense and kind of telling those guys where to go.
Do you have a priority list of any kind? Is there one thing that you're focused on more than the rest that you really think that's the next step for you?
Flip was telling us about how hard you guys worked on throwing as you're rolling to the left. When you're doing that, you're going against the grain. What's the key to throwing an accurate football?
I don't know the specifics. I don't know how to like break it down for you. I just gonna go out there and do it. So I'm just gonna feel how my body moves and stuff like that. But of course, it's balance. I mean, just kind of being able to throw like off platform and kind of just finding that rhythm throwing to the left. So I mean, I don't know, like I'm not gonna break it down for you, but I mean, I just kind of just get a feel for it and just get that rhythm for it.
Was that something you were already comfortable doing in college, or is it just something that you've kind of added to your arsenal since you got to the NFL?
I think baseball kind of helped me with that. So just doing that and throwing on the run. So it kind of just translates over.
Flip was talking about how if you watch that play, when you're rolling left, you can see your leg kind of kick out. Does that help balance you when you throw there?
I think it does, but I don't know. I've just naturally done that. I don't know why I do that, but yeah, Flip was talking about that in meetings. But yeah, I think I just naturally do that.
When you all bring in the extra offensive tackle, it's obviously helped you guys in the running game, but it takes a receiver out of your route combination. Does that make it more challenging for you to find receivers when you guys do choose to break tendency and pass out of that package?
I mean, yeah, just like I think you answer your own question. I mean, it's either you're gonna get something to give up something. So we're getting more protection, but we're giving up less receivers in the route concept. So I mean, it's either you want more receivers in the route concepts or less protection. So you just have to kind of pick and choose. What plays and what situations you want that extra O lineman in there to be able to pass protect longer, or you want an extra receiver maybe run the check down or something like that.
Do you have a preference?
Justin, Matt said it's a good thing that there's maybe some urgency that the team feels in here, losing 3 straight, halfway point of the season. How would you describe the way that the team feels, or what you feel, trying to get off of a 3-game losing streak and try and go in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, of course, none of us want to be in this position that we're in, but we're just gonna, keep doing what we do at practice, and that's just, keep getting better and keep working. So, I mean, personally, I'm not really, really focused on those 3 losses. I mean, because we're in this week now, of course, so I'm just focused on this week. But again, I'm just gonna, go out there and practice and focus on today and get better. And we've learned from those past 3 games, and we're just gonna keep learning each and every day.
COVID's obviously been a story around here. Matt missed the game last week. It's obviously going to be something that affects the Packers for the next couple of weeks here. Are you fully vaccinated?
You've obviously played at some big stages in college and now in the NFL, but does it mean anything more to be playing national Monday night game like this?
We already played. No, we played Sunday night. No, it doesn't mean anything more. But just a football game. So. Appreciate it.
record all these memories here.
Khalil, sounds like your backfield buddy David's getting back in the mix here, knowing his wiring the way you do. How do you express where he's at sort of mentally to try to get back in the mix?
I know he's fired up. He's ready to go. He's been watching film on them from last week, just getting his mind right mentally. So I know he's happy to be back, and he's ready to go to work. So.
How do you feel about trying to find the balance between the two of you guys, kind of trying to do that in the next couple of weeks?
I feel great. Just knowing both of us back there, we both can make plays, and defense has got a plan for both of us. So.
Do you feel like you've earned more snaps even when David Montgomery returns?
It's up to coach. Whatever he requires and whatever he needs from me, from David, I'm sure we'll both comply. So.
How much more confident are you in your ability to run at the NFL level than you were when David got hurt?
I think a lot more confident. Just getting a couple games under my belt. Getting used to how things go. So, feel good about my ability to be able to make plays at this level. So.
What can you teach David about how to run the ball in this offense? I'm just messing with you.
I was like, huh? He was doing it before me.
Well, you have really great vision. Is that something that you feel like comes naturally to you, or is that something you've made a conscious effort to work on?
I think a little bit of both. Like, it comes naturally, but it's something that, as time goes on, you get it slows down. Things slow down for you, and you're able to see things differently.
When David was out, was he still helping you prepare and get ready to fill in?
Yeah, every week. Just mentally, whatever the game plan was, whatever we were doing on film, he'd point out things to me, help me. On the home games when he was there, just when I come to the sideline, ask me what I see. So a lot of different ways he helped a lot. So.
You're obviously kind of thrust into this role given the injuries to David and then Damian going down. And as a guy drafted late as a rookie, what does it mean to you that you were given this opportunity, you made the most of it, and you're a part of this backfield?
It's a blessing. It's not anything you ever plan for, but you always got to stay ready, just in case. And it's a blessing to be able to have the opportunity, go out there and do what I can do. So every day I attack the same way. Just humble to be here and blessing. So.
Talking about how you guys had more negative runs this past week than the previous weeks. From your vantage point, what went into that?
A lot of different things. It's some things we watched on film and we fixed. A lot of things that were correct this week. So it was a combination of a lot of different things, but ultimately we're gonna fix them. So.
What's the level of urgency to snap out of this skid right now? You guys are on a big stage on Monday night and a chance to really feel good about going into the bye week.
It's a big level of urgency. Everybody came in this week ready to work. We gotta get this taste out of our mouth. So everybody's coming ready this week, ready to practice, focus on a lot of the details and little things, and help correct them from last week and the last couple of weeks, so we could get that L out of our mouth. I mean, I guess this will be my first Monday night game, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is it something you grew up watching? Or?
Yeah. I mean, it's just another game, really. Just bigger stage, but it's just another game.
the other day, when you go back and look at that play, what could you have done better in that sequence, and how big of a deflation was that for you guys, given the swing?
That was a situation where we were in cover 9. I was the down safety, opposite of the passing strength, and it was a single high defense. It just was a play where that's an effort play. Obviously, 3rd and 19. It's only so many plays that offense will run. Typically screens, run the ball. Obviously, to kind of just get from back there, and those type of plays typically don't happen, specifically against this defense, man. But it happened. It's one of those worst case scenario kind of thing, and it was an effort play. Guys going under blocks, guys not taking an opportunity to shoot when you got a chance, and no finger point. It was a collective effort that we just didn't accomplish to be able to get the ball. Shouts out to DAC for getting them down, man. And we was able to kind of almost get a field goal out of the drive. But it just was an effort play on our end, and all 11 guys out there, man. You just can't let that happen on 3rd and 19. We was in single high, which means that we had more guys closer to the ball, and we just didn't get the job done. So it's nothing that he did that made it special. It was really what we gave it to him, and obviously he's a good player, but it was really uncharacteristic by us on defense.
You were saying it was really difficult to go back and look at all the big explosive plays you guys gave up in that game, and then on the flip side, made none, really.
Right.
How did that sit with you, knowing that what this defense has been built up to this point?
That's tough. I think that we went back and we looked, and there was so many explosive plays, and I think that the metric that you judge it is, I think, a pass play, anything over 16, and he runs over 12, I believe. I could be wrong, but they had so many of them. It just, that took the nature of the whole meeting. Obviously you want to go in and correct the explosive plays, and this particular meeting was a rather long due to the fact that they had many explosive plays, and against with this defense, man, we felt like we had a good matchup going into the game, and obviously they was making big plays left and right, man. Run game, pass game, they pretty much controlled the wheel, and obviously that's nothing that you want to put on tape. And when you have those type of games, you're eager to get back out there, man, and that's why the weeks are short, and you get another opportunity the following week to go out there and play your brand of football.
You said the meeting was longer than usual. How long does it usually go, and how long did it go?
Well, no, not specifically like a timetable, but obviously you want to correct the mistakes, and obviously those are considered X plays, and you want to learn from those things. So, typically a good day is you can hold a team under 6 or 7. You've pretty much did your job. Obviously those guys get paid just like we do, but I believe they had north of 13, 14, 15 X plays, which is double of what you want to allow. So obviously the corrective tape was a little longer than you would like to, obviously. But with that being said, you learn from that, man, and you go from there. That's why we are here, man. We in these situations. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have that. You got to have that mindset to say, hey, man, new week, flush it out. Obviously that was a tough one. I think this week was tougher than the Rams week, in my opinion. It just was more so the us as a defense playing our brand of football. Rams week, I think, was more just like brain farce of things that guys probably wouldn't normally do that we did. This was just more of us going out there, putting it on tape, running to the ball, guys doing uncharacteristic things from just a technique standpoint. And so, those, like I say, those are things that, you can control. You can control your effort, and you can control the things that we can control from that game.
You got on like the second play. Khalil's not there. How do you make up for that and still play the brand of football that you want to play?
Certain people is irreplaceable. Obviously, when you lose guys like Khalil, I think any defense would suffer if you lose a guy like 5'2". You lose another playmaker in Eddie. That's tough. Obviously, we got guys on the back end who could come in and play. But you losing two of your better players on defense. That's gonna hurt anybody. No excuse. Obviously, it's next man up mentality. Everybody's on this roster can play good quality football, but you losing those type of things, man. When you think about Mac, he brings so much to the game. Not even just from what he physically can do, for just the aura of his presence being out there. So you lose that. Obviously, that's tough. But like I say, man, we got guys that can step up and make plays. Trev has shown that he's capable of being able to go out there and get to the quarterback. Obviously, Rob is Rob. He's been doing it for a long time. But like I say, no excuses. But man, you have guys like that go down. you already missing Mac and Eddie get hurt the second play of the game. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to overcome. But at the end of the day, it wasn't nothing that we was outmatched because of those guys was injured. It's just that they executed at their game plan better than we executed at our game plan.
And you notice what happened on the deep ball towards the end of the first half, and they were going down, no timeouts. I think he got behind Kendall and set up a field goal late in the half.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a standard quarters post route that you attack when you're dealing with quarter half defenses. They knew they set it up perfectly where they wanted to throw the big post to the field. So what they did is they put the passing strength to the left side. Obviously, put us in half away from the target in which they want to go. They knew Deebo Samuel was going to be on the big post. You grab that safety right there, obviously. You run a dig in front of him, got it by his eyes, safety drive on the dig. You got the big post behind him, so you just pray that the backside safety can't get to this front side post. I know it's probably confusing when y'all watch it. Y'all get it, all right. But, yeah, so you banking on that this backside safety, who's a half-field safety, can't get to this big side post. And they banked on it and they guessed right. Obviously, T's gonna be a good football player, man. There's things that any of our safeties can make that play. Obviously, it was like his third, fourth play in the game, and they came in and they executed a good route versus the coverage in which they wanted. We gave them the coverage in which they wanted. But with all that being said, Kendall was right there, and I would take if I'm a betting man, I would say that Kendall, if he get a redo on that play, man, he was right there, stride for stride. It just was a play that 19 made. Kendall was in great position. Couldn't ask him to do nothing more, man, just separate the guy from the ball. So, with that being said, we still was right there where we needed to do. Go back to what we said. We just didn't make the plays that we were supposed to make, and they made the plays that they were supposed to.
Johnny, you've talked before about sort of the electricity that Justin can bring. As a defensive player, seeing some of the life he brought into the game and the building the other day, what are your impressions about his continued growth and just the impact that has?
I think it's huge. I think anytime you see, first of all, he's a dynamic player. Obviously, whether he's throwing the ball, can make every throw, and obviously his legs. I think that you can't really put him in a box, man, because he can be a running quarterback or he can dice you up with his arm, and that's the beautiful part about having a quarterback like that. Defenses can never get comfortable. I know those drives when the quarterback extending plays, that's demoralizing as a defense, man. You give up those 3rd and 7s to a quarterback who can run the ball, so it changed the way that you have to defend people, and it's exciting to watch from the sideline. You see his growth each week. He's just comfortable. He's just getting more and more comfortable. You can see it on the practice field. You could just see it, man. And obviously, last week, he put us in position to win that football game. Obviously, he carried the load. The offense did what they needed to do, and specifically him, man. You got to tip your hat off to him. He carried the load, and he did what he was supposed to do. I wouldn't ask him to do nothing more than what he did, and obviously we got to bring that home for him. But obviously, I think everybody's pleased with what they've seen from him, man, especially this early in his career. You look back 5 years from now, man, no telling what the ceiling is for him, man, and Chicago in good hands with one at quarterback.
What are the main problems that Steelers offense presents?
It affects your pass rush because Ben Roethlisberger get the ball out really quick. He don't want to get hit. He took a lot of hits in his days, man. He not the same old Ben Roethlisberger that's shedding guys off like he used to. That used to be crazy, man. I used to be in Cleveland seeing that 3 guys had to take the guy down. So obviously he don't want to get hit anymore, and it shows. And obviously their plays are designed for him to get the ball out quick. So with that, those D-line know that, hey, man, if they can't get to the quarterback, get their hands up, because obviously tips and overthrows, it's the same. You got to get those. Get the hands up, man. They tip some balls, man. That's obviously an opportunity for us on the back end. But, he taking shots when needed, not many vertical passes that he's willing to take, but he's that quarterback that's going to take what you give him. And that's always dangerous because anytime you're dealing with a quarterback, not many quarterbacks will want to take 5-yard checkdowns all the way down the field. It's a few select quarterbacks, and most of those guys are Hall of Fame. The Drew Brees, the Tom Brady, the Aaron Rodgers. You give him 5 there, take 5. And he fall in that category. So obviously you got to play tighter. This going to be a game plan where we're going to have to play with our eyes, vision break, man, be a little tighter in coverage, and, give those guys time to hunt in the front end. But those guys know that the ball come out quick enough, man, that if you can't get there, get your hands up, because obviously those are opportunities for the back 7 to be able to affect the game that way.
Last couple of years, he's developed a trust in Deontay Johnson. What do you see in that young receiver that leaves an impression on you?
He's a good football player, man. He's savvy in his routes. He's smooth. Yeah, I know he had a couple of cases of the dropsies, man, but he's been catching the ball efficiently, and his routes, he can run every route, man, efficiently. He can run. He a vertical threat. He can stretch the top. So obviously, our cornerbacks, I have our hands full, and I had the utmost confidence in what 33 and 22 can do on the back end, and 20 in the slot. But you know, you got to tip your hat off to him, and I've seen his game grow compared from last year to this year. He's growing into a good football player, and I see why Ben trusts him because you know his routes are designed to. I mean, sometimes, man, some of the routes he run is just pretty crazy, and obviously, Ben Roethlisberger know where to find him. Obviously, losing 19 hurt, so obviously somebody had to step up. I think 18 is doing that right now, and in my opinion, I think he's their best receiver, and rightfully so. So he's gonna get his targets, man. We just got to win our one-on-one matchups when we get a chance with him.